In this video, we're going to be seeing how to create the countdown timer, this one. So for this, you require just one property, which is going to be target date, which is the target date from which you want to count the countdown formula here. So let's see how we can build this formula here. This is a relatively simple formula. So let's create a new formula for that. So let's add a formula property and let's call that countdown. It's actually countdown. And the first thing that we need is we need to take the target date, and we're going to use a simple formula, simple function for that, which is called dateBetween. So Notion has its own built-in function, which is called dateBetween, which takes the date, which is two dates, and it kind of finds the difference between those two dates. And you can give some argument, which can be in years, quarters, months, weeks, days, hours, or minutes. So we're going to be taking days. So if you want weeks, you can take weeks. If you want any other values you want, you can just take that. So you're going to be taking days for that. So let's use the date between here. So when using the date between, we need to take the largest date as the first value and the smaller date as the second value. So here the largest date, that is the bigger date, that is the larger date is going to be the date in the future, which is going to be the target date. So let's take the target property as the first argument. So once we have the target date, the next thing is we want to find the difference between that target date and today. So let's use the built-in function today. So today gives us the date value of today, so it gives the timestamp of today, and we need to find the difference between these two dates. Now we want to find the number of days, so let's give the argument as days. So in this place you can give days, weeks, or even months. So if instead of days, if you give weeks, it's going to show the number of weeks between the target date. So let's type years. It shows the number of years. So since it's in the same year, there is no difference between the years. So let's take days for now, and that it gives a number of days. So this is the basic formula. So now we have the number of days between the target date and today. This is the countdown number of days. So this automatically updates every day. So you don't have to update it every day. So this today function here automatically updates based on the current date. This will be automatically updated. So now this is number of days that we want. The next thing that we want to do is we want to format this so that we can show something like number of days left. So let's call this value days. So let's use the let's function for that so that we can declare some variables. So let's call this days, and base values is going to be the number of days. And next thing that we want to format is we want to put inside a string. So let's add a string. So we want to show number of days plus it needs to show number of days left. So it shows something like this. As you can see, it is a string now. So you can see it is a text. So 51 days left. So that is the number of days, that is plus days left. So it shows number of days left. So that is the string. Next we want to format this. So let's first put this inside brackets, and next to format this thing we're going to be using the style function for that. So let's call the style function. So this is a built-in function inside Notion which takes several arguments and it styles the given text according to the arguments given in the function. So let's code that. Let's give the style called code. So it gives this nice gray background and you have the text in monospace or a specific font. So there is code, and after that let's give bold. So B stands for bold. So you can just click on the style function here and you can just see what are the valid arguments that you can give to the function. You can give bold, underline, italics, code, or strike through. So everything has its own string variables. So you need to give you can give how many values you want, and you need to just give them by comma separated values. So you need to give each of the argument comma separated. So that is how it is. And for you have some colors also. You have some valid colors, and yeah, and you can add background to the color. So that you can give the background of that color. So the next thing that I want to do is let's give some blue color here. So let's type blue here, and after that we also want the blue background so that it looks much more better. So yeah, so let's add the blue background, and it looks much similar to how it is here. So that is how you kind of create the countdown timer. So you can click control enter and you can see this is the number of days from the target date. So that is how you create a countdown timer in Notion, and this automatically updates based on the days because the function that is used inside this formula updates based on the current date. So this automatically updates based on what is the current date. So That is how you can create a countdown in Notion formulas. So hopefully you found this video helpful. Thank you for watching. See you in the next video.